let's talk about getting started on the pendant. Now, some of you guys have already sent me your images for the pendant, okay? Remember, we need a silhouette. That might look like this, or it might look like this. What's important to determine is what parts are you cutting out and what parts are you keeping. Now, in both of these cars, you're gonna see kind of the reverse. This one is this one here. You can see that I've cut out the white spaces and I'm keeping the black. In this example, I'm probably going to keep all of my white spaces and I'm going to cut out the black or cut out the windows or maybe the headlights, okay? It's important to know what parts you're keeping, what parts you're cutting out. This one for me was way easier to interpret. I can keep all the black pieces, cut out all the white pieces. Once you've decided on that, you're going to get your image onto your metal. Okay, so let's switch examples here. If I'm looking at maybe a stencil kind of like this, same thing, I want to interpret. What am I keeping? What am I cutting out? In this example, I would keep the black, that would be the metal, and I would cut out the white. So as I'm getting that image onto my metal, I could then cut this out, pick the actual metal color I wanted. So I could use brass, I could use copper, or I could use nickel. And then I'm going to use my rubber cement to glue that onto my metal sheet here. We already know how to do that. Looking ahead, if we actually get that image onto our metal, it's going to look something kind of like this. Now this gives me an idea of what I can cut out. This is a more of an interesting design of kind of doing a reverse, having a black and a white space, so kind of flipping it. So that's a little bit more complex. If that makes sense to you, cool, you can absolutely do it. If you need something a little bit more simplified, definitely keep it more of the black I'm gonna keep, the white I'm gonna cut out, or vice versa. Here's the pendant example of that. Now this one, I made a little bit more fancy. I actually added in the drop shape around it. So this makes it a little bit more custom, okay? I did that because this is a coffee cup and it's kind of like a liquid drop, like a liquid in the coffee cup. And then I actually cut out the reverse, okay? So you can kind of see, so this is my black space. Then this also becomes kind of the space I'm keeping as well, okay? So this just gives you some examples on how to actually get started on your piece. When you get your image onto your metal, that means making sure that you're cutting out the outer shape first and then worrying about the inside pieces later, okay? So once you start cutting out, cut out your outer shape first, worry about your inside pieces later, okay? That's how you get started on the pendant.